Good morning, students. We have already discussed about various heads and subheads which are comes under balance sheet. Now, students, we have to understand how to solve the questions where you are asked for a complete balance sheet. When the question has been given to you and you have to draft the entire balance sheet with the help of that question. Now you have to stand step by step. You have to understand how to solve this type of question. What is the first step? Keep in mind, without noticing the other figures, what you have to do, you have to draft the format of the balance sheet. You have to draft the format of the balance sheet as it is provided in section 3, schedule 3, and I have already sent you the draft of the same. You have to start it and you have to simply draw it. Just see, I have done for you. First of all, we will start with the name of the company, that is Nishant Company Limited. Fine. And after that, we have to put the balance sheet date. Balance sheet as at. The date of the balance sheet is very much important. So you have to write it balance sheet as at. And after that, the format of it. Just see particulars, then note number, then 2 columns of the amount. The first column shows the current year amount and the next one shows the previous year amount. If any amount of previous year has been mentioned in the question, then only you have to write, otherwise put that blank only. We will start with the format. First of all, please write down equity and liabilities. Under this, 3 things are there. Simply you have to write it down. Shareholder funds, the very first main heading. Under this, 3 things are there. Just note it down. Share capital, reserves and surplus, money received against share warrant. Then your second main heading, that is share application money pending allotment. You just have to write it and nothing else. Now see the next page. Your third main heading is non-current liabilities. Under this, 3 subheadings are there. Long-term borrowings, other long-term liabilities, long-term provisions. Tax liability is not there, so that's why I'm not mentioning it in the balance sheet right now. Then the fourth heading. The fourth heading is current liabilities. Here you need not to worry about the figures right now. Simply you have to draft the balance sheet and draft it as soon as possible, and for that you have to learn it very properly. The format, I want to tell you that this format only consists 5 marks out of 12. That means if your figure is not correct, then also you are able to get 5 out of 12. So format is very much essential here. Your fourth main heading is current liabilities. Under this, short-term borrowings are there. B, trade payables are there. C, other current liabilities are there. And D, short-term provisions are there. Then the total of equity and liability sides you have to put. Now again you comes to your second part, that is assets. Assets are divided into 2 subparts. This we have already discussed. The first one is non-current assets and the second one is current assets. Under non-current assets, you will find fixed assets, And under fixed assets, there are two subheads, that is tangible assets and intangible assets. Tangible assets are those assets which we are able to see or touch. Intangible assets which we are not able to see but must possess some value, just like copyrights are there, goodwill is there. Okay. Then the second part, B, that is non-current investment. Then part number C of your asset sides, that is long-term loans and advances. Here simply you have to write and nothing else. Okay. All the things we will do through working notes. Then heading number D, other non-current assets. Now come to your second main heading, that is current assets. Now current assets is further divided into 6 parts. Part A, that is current investment. Part B, that is inventories. Part C, that is trade receivables. Part D, that is cash and cash equivalents. Part E, that is short-term loans and advances. Part F, that is other current assets. Fine. Now we will start our question. Now see students, one by one we will prepare notes to account. If you go through your question, we will start with our liability side first of all. What you will find first, sundry creditors. So just simply put note number 1. You know that sundry creditors will come under the category of trade payables. So put the heading trade payables. Trade payable consists of two things, creditors and bills payable. So first of all, you have to write creditors, that is equals to 1 lakh rupees. Don't worry about the second heading right now. Leave some space. The second one is security premium. So security premium will comes under the heading reserves and surplus. So again put note number 2, heading reserves and surplus, and under this heading you have to write security premium, that is amounted to rupees 50,000. Put some space again. Now interest on debentures, that is of rupees 28,000. So this you have to understand that interest on debentures has been given to you on liability sides. That means it is not yet paid. It is to be paid in future, or you can say in recent future only. And that is the reason it is a part of our current liabilities under the subheading of other current liabilities. So see the note number 3 I have given you. In note number 3, it is mentioned other current liabilities, interest on debentures, that is equals to 28,000. Is it clear? Now the fourth part, that is authorized share capital. That means it is a part of share capital. And remember, this is the most important part, because under working notes you will get marks for heading and subheading under this topic only, share capital, or sometimes in reserves and surplus also. So share capital is the most important. You will start with what? Authorized share capital. Whether it is given in the question or it is not mentioned in the question, you have to write authorized share capital. Here in this question it is mentioned authorized share capital, that is of 1,20,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So that is equals to 12 lakh. Is it clear? Now under this issued capital, this issued capital is not mentioned here. Okay, so you simply put dash, because amount has not been mentioned, but you have to give the heading after authorized capital. Which capital will come? Issued capital. And after issued capital, it's time of subscribed capital. It is given in the question, subscribed capital, but call in arrears is also given to you. So it is a part of subscribed but not fully paid up. See, 80,000 shares of rupees 10 each, that is equals to 8 lakh. How much call in arrears? That is also mentioned in the question itself. 5,000 shares of rupees 3 each, that is equals to 15,000. So under the heading of subscribed but not fully paid up, it will come 7,85,000. Is it clear? Now see, what is the next heading of your liability side? That is statement of profit and loss account. Statement of profit and loss account is a part of reserves and surplus. So it will comes under the heading of reserves and surplus. So note 2 we have already prepared for reserves and surplus. Under that we have already written security premium. So just below of note 2 it is written statement of profit and loss, that is equals to 75,000. Is it clear? Now what is next heading? 6% debentures. So you have to remember this, that debentures is a part of long term borrowings. It's a part of long term borrowings. So it will comes under note number 5. I have given, because I am just making the notes according to the question, according to the serials. Okay, so you will also do like this only. So 6% debentures is there. Note number 5. Debentures are the part of long term borrowings. So give the heading long term borrowings, and under this long term borrowings you have to write 6% debentures, that is equals to 6 lakh. Is it clear? Now the last heading that is given in the question under liability side, that is bills payable. So again bills payable is a part of trade payables. We have already discussed that trade payables consist of two things, creditors and bills payable. So again comes to note number 1 where we have made trade payables. Creditors we have already mentioned 1 lakh. What you have to see? Bills payable, that is equals to 76,000. That means total of trade payables is now 1,76,000. Student, now we will move to our asset side. What is the first heading given in the question? That is cash at bank. So you know that cash at bank is a part of cash and cash equivalents. So you have to give note number 6, cash and cash equivalent. Under this what you have to write? Cash at bank, that is equals to 79,800, and just below it cash in hand. So cash in hand is also a part of cash and cash equivalent. So you have to just write cash in hand, that is equals to 1,500. So the total of cash and cash equivalent is now 81,300. Is it clear? Now what is next? Investment. So remember one thing, students, if only investment has been given to you, so it is always considered as long term investment, or we can say non current investment, unless and until it is clearly mentioned that it is a short term investment. Only investment has been given to you, so it is always considered as long term investment or non current investment. So note number 7, what you have to write? Non current investment, and under this you have to give heading investment, that is equals to 95,000. Is it clear? What next? Next is preliminary expenses. So this we have already discussed earlier, that preliminary expenses should be written off from reserves and surplus. Okay, it should be written off from the heading reserves and surplus. If security premium has been given to you, so you have to write it from security premium reserve. Just see. Just see note number 2 again. Under the note number 2, you will find that I have deducted this preliminary expenses, rupees 9,000. Now we have done up to preliminary expenses. The next one, loans and advances to staff. Now again you have to put your brain. Loan and advances to staff, it is a part of short term loans and advances, because loans and advances given to staff or employees, it is for very short term, either for 1 month or 2 months, like this only. We can't give loan for a very long period to our staff members. Okay, so whenever it is given loan and advances to staff, that means it's a short term loans and advances. See note number 8. It will comes under the heading short term loans and advances. What next? The next one is goodwill. So goodwill is a part of intangible assets. Note number 9. What heading you are going to give? Intangible assets. Goodwill, that is equals to 50,000. Okay. What next? Building. So building is a part of tangible assets. Building is a part of tangible assets. So under note number 10, I have given heading tangible assets. Give heading under note number 10 tangible assets, and under tangible assets you have to write building, that is equals to 6 lakh. Then plant and machinery, less depreciation. So when depreciation has been given to you in the question, you have to write the value after deducted the depreciation from it. That means you have to write what? 5,94,000. Okay, you have to write 5,94,000 in plant and machinery, or you can write like this also, 6,60,000 and less depreciation 66,000. What next? The next one is inventories. So inventories are the part of current assets. So under the heading inventories, you have to write 10,000 directly. No calculation is required here. Now the next one is debtors. That is equals to 1,74,000. So remember student that debtors are the part of trade receivable. Just like trade payable consists of two things, creditors and bills payable. Like that, under asset sides, trade receivable, which falls under the current assets, will consist of two things, that is debtors and bills receivable. So in this question only debtors has been given to you, so you have to write debtors 1,74,000. The exact value of debtors you have to write, because provision for doubtful debts, it is given in the question, provision, less provision for doubtful debts. So because the word provision is there, so it is comes under the heading short term provisions. Just see the note number 13, I have given this short term provisions. Okay, so it will comes under short term provisions. Provision for doubtful debts amounted to rupees 8,700. Now the last heading, that is given under asset side, that is furniture. So furniture, again it's a part of tangible assets. Furniture is a part of tangible assets, so you have to write tangible assets. We have already prepared under note number 10. So you have to add furniture under note number 10. So the total of tangible assets become 12,08,000. Now students, come to your third main heading, that is non-current liabilities. Under this, long-term borrowings has been given to you, and we have already calculated it under note number 5, that is equals to 6 lakh. Fine. Other long-term liabilities is not given to you, so simply you have to put blank. Long-term provision, it has not been given to you, so simply you have to put the blank. Fine. Under long-term provision, only one thing will come, that is known as employees provident fund. Is it clear? Now your next heading is current liabilities. Under this current liabilities, short-term borrowing is there, but no item or no amount of short-term borrowings has been mentioned in the question, so simply you have to put blank. Then trade payables, we have already done it through note number 1. It consists of two things, creditors and bills payable. Creditors were 1 lakh, bills payable were 76,000, so total amount is 1,76,000. Then other current liabilities, we have done it through note number 3. Interest on debentures has been given 28,000. You have to write that amount. Now short term provision, under note number 13, 8700, that is the provision for doubtful debts has been given to you. It's a part of short term because debtors, it is of routine nature, so bad debt is also of routine nature. So any provision which is made on bad debts or debtors, that is considered as short term provisions. Then comes to your asset sides, non-current assets, fixed assets, then tangible assets we have done through note number 10. The total of this 12,08,000. Intangible assets, we have done it through note number 9. The total is 50,000. Non-current investment, we have done through note number 7. That is 95,000. Then long-term loans and advances, it is not given in the question, put blank. Other non-current assets not given in the question, put blank. Then comes to your current assets. It consists of 6 heading. We have already discussed. Current investment, no amount is given in the question, put it blank. Inventories, we have done through note number 11, that is 10,000. Trade receivables, we have done it through note number 12, that is 1,74,000. Cash and cash equivalent, we have done it through note number 6. Cash in hand and cash at bank, two things were there, and their total is 81,300. Short term loans and advances, we have done through note number 8. Under this, loans and advances given to staff has been given. Other current assets has not been given to you. Now simply you have to do the total of both the sides, equity and liabilities as well as assets. The total is 17,13,700 of the liability sides, equity and liability sides, and the total of asset side is also 17,13,700. That means your balance sheet is correct. So this you have to keep in mind. I'm just repeating that format is quite important. Only drafting of format, the different heads, and subheads, whether it comes under the question or not, but you have to mention it, you have to draft it. Okay students, I hope you have understand. We will meet again in our next video. Bye.